The Vickers Valiant was a pioneering British jet-powered strategic bomber marking the beginning of the V-bomber era, Britain's Cold War fleet of nuclear-capable bombers. Developed in response to rising tensions between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union, the Valiant became the first operational aircraft in Britain's nuclear deterrent force, preceding the Avro Vulcan and Handley Page Victor. It was a crucial component of the Royal Air Force's Bomber Command, designed to deliver both nuclear and conventional payloads deep into enemy territory. Though its service life was relatively short, from 1955 to 1965, the Valiant played a vital role in shaping British military strategy. It was Britain's first aircraft to drop an atomic bomb, participated in Britain's first thermonuclear tests, and saw active combat during the Suez Crisis of 1956. However, structural fatigue ultimately led to its early retirement, highlighting the challenges of high-speed, high-altitude jet bomber operations. Despite being overshadowed by the more advanced Vulcan and Victor, the Valiant remains an essential chapter in aviation history. This retrospective will cover its development, operational history, military significance, and legacy, shedding light on the aircraft that laid the foundation for Britain's strategic bomber force. Following World War II, the geopolitical landscape shifted dramatically, with the United States and the Soviet Union emerging as the world's two dominant superpowers. Britain, having lost much of its global influence, sought to maintain its position as a leading military power, particularly in nuclear deterrence. The development of atomic weapons in the late 1940s led Britain to pursue its own nuclear arsenal, independent of American control. To deliver these weapons, the British Air Ministry issued Specification B-35, calling for a high-speed, high-altitude jet bomber capable of reaching the Soviet Union while carrying a nuclear payload. Three companies, Vickers Armstrongs, Avro, and Handley Page, were selected to develop prototypes, resulting in the creation of the V-bombers. The Vickers Valiant, first flown in 1951 and operational in 1955, the Avro Vulcan, first flown in 1952 and operational in 1956, and the Handley Page Victor, first flown in 1952, operational in 1958. Among these, the Vickers Valiant was the simplest and most conventional design, prioritizing ease of production and rapid deployment. While the Vulcan and Victor were more advanced aerodynamically, their complexity led to longer development times. This made the Valiant the RAF's first nuclear-capable bomber, placing Britain among the elite nations with a strategic bombing capability. The Valiant bomber, designed with a straightforward approach, featured a conventional straight-wing design that facilitated easier manufacturing and maintenance compared to its V-bomber counterparts. It was powered by four Rolls-Royce Avon RA3 turbojet engines, achieving a maximum speed of around 560 miles per hour for high-altitude missions. The aircraft had a significant payload capacity of up to 21,000 pounds or 9,500 kilograms, capable of carrying both conventional and nuclear weapons, including early British atomic bombs. Operated by a crew of 5, the Valiant included a pressurized cabin and ejection seats for enhanced crew safety. Its simple and robust construction allowed for quick production, resulting in the RAF receiving the first Valiants in 1955. The Vickers Valiant's primary mission was to act as a nuclear deterrent, enabling the RAF to enforce Britain's policy of mutually assured destruction during the 1950s and early 1960s. It was the first British aircraft to drop an atomic bomb, conducting nuclear tests in Operation Buffalo in 1956 and Operation Grapple in 1957, where it dropped the Blue Danube atomic bomb and Britain's first hydrogen bomb. These tests established Britain's status as a nuclear power, ensuring it maintained an independent deterrent alongside the US and the Soviet Union. The Suez Crisis of 1956 was the only combat operation in which a V-bomber was used. During this conflict, Britain and France attempted to regain control of the Suez Canal after Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser nationalized it. Valiants carried out bombing missions against Egyptian airfields and military infrastructure, supporting Anglo-French ground operations. These missions showcased the aircraft's conventional strike capabilities, but also revealed limitations. Jet-powered bombers were less suited for colonial wars, where air superiority was already established. By the early 1960s, the effectiveness of high-altitude bombing was called into question as Soviet surface-to-air missile technology improved. In response, the RAF shifted its V-bomber force to low-altitude penetration tactics, reducing the risk of detection and interception. However, the Valiant's airframe was not designed for sustained, low-level operations. The added stress of flying at lower altitudes caused structural fatigue, particularly in the wing spars, leading to dangerous cracks. By 1964, inspections revealed severe metal fatigue across the Valiant fleet, forcing the RAF to ground all Valiants in 1965. Rather than investing in costly repairs, the RAF decided to retire the aircraft entirely, shifting reliance to the Vulcan and Victor, which remained in service until the 1980s. Despite its early retirement, the Valiant significantly influenced British military aviation strategy. It established the RAF's first strategic bomber force and was the country's first nuclear weapons platform, conducting landmark atomic and thermonuclear tests. The Valiant also pioneered aerial refueling for RAF bombers, enhancing their long-range capabilities, and provided insights into airframe fatigue that shaped future aircraft design. Today, only one complete Valiant remains, preserved at the RAF Museum in Cosford, UK, as a historical tribute to Britain's Cold War efforts. While often overshadowed by the Vulcan and Handley Page Victor, the Valiant was the first V-bomber in service, playing a crucial role in ensuring a credible nuclear strike force during the critical years of the Cold War.